Before we even begin, two different spiritual seers, were handed your photo, and the moment their eyes landed on it, they froze. Their hands trembled, their breath stopped, and one of them whispered, "Do you have any idea who this person is?" Chosen one, something about your spirit, your calling, your destiny, shook them to their core, and after today, you'll finally understand why. There are moments when heaven interrupts the ordinary, moments when the unseen realm reacts before the natural mind can even process what is happening. And if you are hearing this right now, it is not coincidence, it is alignment. Something in the spiritual world has already spoken your name, and now it is reaching you. Your presence has been echoing in places your feet have never stepped into. Your spirit has been recognized in realms most people never touch. Two different seers, standing in two different rooms, were handed one single photograph, your photograph. And the moment their eyes landed on it, their bodies reacted before their minds could catch up. Their hands trembled, their breath stalled. One of them whispered, "Do you understand who this person is?" They didn't tremble because of fear. They trembled because something on your life is awakening. Something marked, something sealed, something undeniable. Today, Chosen One, we are going to uncover what they saw behind your image, why your presence touched the spiritual realm with such force, and what heaven has already decreed over your future long before this moment arrived. Stay with me until the end, because the final revelation will not just speak to your spirit. It will confirm something you've been sensing for months, something you couldn't explain, something your soul has been waiting for. And before we continue, if your spirit is already stirring, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't yet, and comment 99 as a prophetic sign that what was hidden is about to be revealed in your life. When your photo was handed to the first seer, the shift was immediate, not gradual, not subtle, but instantaneous, as if something invisible snapped into place around her. The lights didn't flicker, but the room dimmed in a way the natural eye couldn't fully explain. The air thickened, almost humming, like the atmosphere itself recognized you before the seer could form a single thought. She didn't tremble because something frightened her. She trembled because something recognized her, something ancient, something assigned to you long before your birth. It was as if your presence arrived before the photograph did. Her fingers tightened around the edges of the image. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Her eyes didn't blink. Her chest rose in a slow, stunned breath, the kind a person takes when they're witnessing something they were never meant to witness in the natural. She wasn't trembling out of weakness, but out of reverence, because she sensed a weight she was not expecting, a weight that came from your mantle, not your image. And while she was standing in that charged silence miles away, the second seer experienced the same disruption. Different place, different hour, no shared message, no warning. Yet the reaction mirrored itself perfectly. The spiritual realm does not need phone calls or coordination. When something is divine, the signal hits every sensitive soul at the same time. The moment the second seer looked at your photo, she felt a heat rise up her spine. Not a physical warmth, but the kind that burns through the invisible world first. Her breath caught in her throat. Her heartbeat stuttered. She felt the unmistakable sensation of being surrounded, not by darkness, but by angelic pressure. The kind of presence that only appears around people who carry spiritual authority even before they understand it themselves. This wasn't about your face. It wasn't about how you look. It wasn't even about the moment the photograph was taken. What shook them was the signature imprinted on your life, the imprint that heaven placed on you long before anyone ever discovered your name. They weren't reacting to the surface. They were reacting to the layer beneath it, the layer most people never see, the layer only the spiritually awake can feel. Both seers, without speaking to each other, without sharing a story, without comparing visions, declared the exact same truth. This one carries a mantle, not of this world, not a talent, not a personality trait, a mantle, a spiritual assignment heavy enough to announce itself even through a photograph. And that is why your photo didn't act like a photo. It acted like a doorway, a portal into your destiny, exposing what has been written over you in realms most people never perceive. Your image didn't reveal your features. It revealed your mission, your calling, your spiritual identity. And as that realization settled over them, both seers sensed something else, something neither of them dared to speak aloud at first, something that will make even more sense as we continue. Because what they saw wasn't just about who you are, it was about what has already begun around you. And the part of the story they haven't told you yet is the part that changes everything. When the seers looked beyond the surface of your photo, they weren't studying your expression. They were reading the story written in your spirit. Behind your eyes, they didn't see a person simply living life. They saw someone who has been walking through a battlefield disguised as routine. They saw the weight you carried quietly, the wounds no one ever acknowledged, the nights your soul trembled while your face pretended to be calm. They saw the invisible bruises left by seasons that were brutal, unfair, and designed to break weaker souls. Yet there you were, standing, breathing, rising. That alone stunned them. They watched visions unfold like scenes layered behind your image, moments where you were surrounded by people who smiled at you but secretly hoped you would fall. Decisions you had to make alone because people who promised loyalty suddenly disappeared. Prayers whispered in exhaustion when no one knew you were even struggling. They saw rejection intended to bury you, but instead, it sharpened you. They saw losses meant to silence you, but instead, they unlocked spiritual insight inside you. Every time life tried to shatter you, something inside you solidified instead of collapsing. And the seers could feel that density, that resilience, that unbreakable core. As their spiritual eyesight focused, they saw something even more startling. Around you, stationed like silent guardians, were angels who weren't simply observing. They were positioned, active, alert. Some stood behind you, as if shielding old wounds. Others stood beside you, as if ready to intervene at the slightest threat. And above you, a presence they both recognized instantly. The unmistakable authority of Michael the Archangel. Not positioned there out of pity, but out of assignment. His stance wasn't protective like you were fragile. It was strategic, like you were carrying something the darkness desperately wanted to stop. And in the realm behind your photo, they saw chains that once held you. Chains of doubt, heartbreak, generational patterns, spiritual attacks, now lying broken on the ground. Not cut, not stolen, outgrown. You didn't escape them, you outgrew them. You expanded beyond the limitations others placed on you. That's why the seers couldn't look at your image casually. They were seeing someone who had already survived a war most people never realize they're even in. But alongside the battles, they also saw something miraculous. Blessings with your name engraved into them. Not floating in the distance, not waiting for permission, simply waiting for the right moment. Some blessings were folded like sealed letters. Others were locked away in what looked like spiritual vaults. All of them had the same glow, the same signature, the same undeniable truth. They were designated for you long before you were ever betrayed, misunderstood, or dismissed. They also heard whispers, not from angels, but from people who pretended to care. Whispers spoken behind closed doors, uttered by mouths that smiled to your face. The seers saw exactly who used your name in envy, who tried to diminish you in rooms you weren't in, who underestimated the depth of your calling. But every whisper dissolved the moment it reached the air, because heaven had already spoken louder. Your image carried the weight of someone chosen, not because life was easy, but because life tested you in ways most never experience, and you rose above every blow. You were refined in fire you didn't ask for, shaped by pressures you didn't deserve, developed in silence while others assumed nothing was happening. And that spiritual density, that divine weight, radiated through your picture like a frequency only the spiritually awakened could detect. That's why they trembled, not because of danger, not because of confusion, but because they saw someone who walked through darkness without becoming dark, someone who faced destruction without losing their purpose, someone the spiritual realm recognizes instantly because your anointing speaks before you ever say a word. And just when they thought they grasped the fullness of what was attached to you, something behind your image shifted again, something neither seer was prepared for, something that revealed not just what is around you, but what is already moving toward you. And that revelation changes everything about your next season. When the spiritual realm reacted so violently to your photo, it wasn't because of the image itself. It was because of what the image carried. A normal person appears in a picture as just that, a moment frozen, an expression captured, a simple reflection of the natural world. But when a chosen one appears in the frame, the photograph becomes a doorway, a mirror, a map, a declaration. And the seers recognized instantly that what they were seeing was not a snapshot of a life, but the outline of a destiny already in motion. In the invisible realm, your life is not an unfolding mystery. It is recorded as in written with intention. It is sealed as in protected from interference. It is guarded as in marked with authority. Heaven doesn't need time to understand you. Heaven recognized you the moment you entered the earth. But when the seers looked at your photo, they weren't reacting to heaven's memory of you. They were reacting to heaven's current movement around you. Something had shifted, something had accelerated, something had been authorized. What shook them was this: your season changed, and you didn't even know it yet. They saw movement around your life that shouldn't have been possible at the stage you are in. They saw chapters closing without your permission and new ones opening before you asked. They saw divine decisions already stamped and scheduled, long before you saw any evidence in the natural world. They saw a verdict, not pending, not in process, but already delivered, and that verdict had your name on it. They saw doors that once resisted you now unlocking themselves, not because you forced them, but because the spiritual locks had been broken. They saw enemies, some you know, some you don't, losing spiritual access to your name. Where they once whispered, now their voices fall flat. Where they once plotted, now their strategies dissolve before they can form. Where they once expected you to fall, now they can only watch as God rewrites the script in your favor. They saw relationships being rearranged by the hand of God, not out of punishment, but out of precision. People being shifted out of your path because they cannot go where you are headed. People being drawn toward you because they play a role in your next season. They saw connections tightening, alliances forming, and imposters being removed quietly before they could contaminate what is holy. They saw blessings not crawling toward you, but accelerating, as if heaven itself were ushering them forward. They saw divine justice tying up loose ends you forgot about, addressing offenses you buried, confronting situations you outgrew. They saw heaven correcting what the earth mishandled. They saw recompense being scheduled. They saw restoration taking shape. But the strongest reaction, the one that sent that unmistakable tremor through their bodies, came from the understanding that nothing can stop what has already been signed. They saw that no jealousy, no sabotage, no hidden rival, no private curse, no silent enemy could override the decree that heaven placed over your existence. Your destiny startled them because it was not just strong, it was untouchable. They saw that your life is not at the mercy of human decisions. Your story is not dependent on who supports you or who rejects you. Your future is not vulnerable to the opinions or insecurities of others. What God signed over your life cannot be revoked by the hands of those who underestimated you. And as they processed that revelation, something even more intense unfolded behind your image. Something neither seer expected, something that hinted that your breakthrough is not approaching. It may already be here, hovering closer than you realize, preparing to step into your physical reality in a way you won't be able to ignore. When both seers tried to articulate what they sensed around your life, their voices carried the same tremor, not of fear, but of recognition. Something had shifted around you with such force, such speed, such undeniable weight, that the spiritual realm reacted before the natural world could catch up. They described it as a sudden turn in the atmosphere, like the moment the wind changes direction before a storm breaks open. Except this storm wasn't destruction, it was activation. The first thing they sensed was acceleration, not the slow unfolding of destiny, but the rapid swing of divine momentum. What once dragged, delayed, or resisted you would now begin happening with startling speed. Processes that took months will compress into days. Opportunities that required chasing will start knocking uninvited. Paths that were blocked will open without warning. It won't feel rushed. It will feel right on time. Because heaven is no longer waiting for your circumstances to align. Your circumstances are now being pulled into alignment with heaven. Then came the feeling of exposure, an unveiling of hidden conversations, secret intentions, and whispered opinions spoken when you weren't in the room. Not to shame you, but to free you. Every shadow that clung to your name is about to be dragged into the light, because the new season cannot contain anything that was built on deception. The seers saw words rising, not in volume, but in visibility, exposing every false alliance, every counterfeit friend, every quiet betrayer. Masks will fall, not violently, but inevitably, and you won't have to confront anyone. Heaven will do it for you. Next, they felt the surge of honor approaching you. Real honor, the kind that cannot be manufactured, the kind that comes when God elevates someone so quickly that even their critics lose their vocabulary. People who once dismissed you will have no choice but to acknowledge your presence. Not because you demanded it, but because heaven placed you in positions they never imagined you'd enter. Your name will be spoken in rooms where it was once ignored. Your value will be recognized by people who once claimed not to see it. Not flattery, not ego, honor. Then came something sharper, the imprint of fear. Not your fear, the fear of those who attempted to sabotage you, block you, or bury you. They will tremble, not because of your strength, but because of how publicly God overturns what they tried to do in private. Your rise will confuse them. Your protection will intimidate them. Your acceleration will expose the weakness of their schemes. They will watch you rise faster than they can whisper, and they will have no explanation except this: God is behind them. But the shift wasn't only about justice, it was about love. A love that has been circling your life in silence. Someone whose heart never fully detached from you, someone who tried to move on but couldn't outrun the spiritual connection, is about to feel a pull they can't explain. Not obsession, not confusion, a divine stirring. Their heart is being recalibrated toward you, not by longing, but by timing. What was once misaligned is being repositioned. They are not returning out of nostalgia. They are being summoned by purpose. And then the seers described a flood of provision. Not money tossed your way, but blessings that feel orchestrated. Resources, people, openings, ideas, and opportunities appearing the same way rain appears in a dry landscape. Suddenly, thoroughly, undeniably. They saw provision that moves toward you, not away from you. They saw a season where you stop striving because the blessings have already been ordered to chase you down. This isn't imagination. It isn't wishful thinking. It isn't spiritual theatrics. It is the direct consequence of a verdict already stamped with your name, a decision made in the courts of heaven long before you even sensed the shift. That trembling the seers felt was not a reaction to danger. It was a reaction to the authority now resting on your life, the kind of authority that cannot be hidden, delayed, or resisted. Your life isn't preparing to shift. Your life is shifting. Right now, not tomorrow, not in due time, not one day when things improve. Now. And as this activation unfolds, something even more mysterious begins to emerge. Something the seers tried to describe but struggled to contain. A revelation that reveals not only what is coming toward you, but who is about to be confronted because of what is written over you. When the seers looked at your photo, they didn't just see what was around you, they saw what was coming toward you. And the truth they kept repeating, almost in disbelief, was this: the spiritual realm is preparing to confirm everything they felt about you through signs so precise, so personal, so timely, that you will not be able to dismiss them as imagination. These signs are not symbolic, they are not vague. They are not the kind of coincidences your mind can rationalize away. They are markers placed by heaven to announce, the shift has already begun, and in the coming days, your life will start echoing those markers one by one. The first sign will likely appear in your sleep. Not a random dream, not a foggy confusion of the subconscious, but a vivid, almost cinematic experience involving a door opening or your name being spoken with clarity. That dream won't feel like a dream. It will feel like someone waking your spirit from the inside. The door represents access. The calling of your name represents recognition. It is heaven showing you what has already been unlocked in the unseen. When you wake up, you'll feel it. Not fear, not confusion, but a strange readiness, as if something inside you finally remembers what it was created for. The second sign will come through a stranger, someone you've never met, someone with no reason to know what you've been carrying. Without realizing it, they will speak the exact words your soul has been starving for. Not flattery, not advice, something specific, something too aligned to be casual, something that hits the center of your chest like confirmation. You won't need to analyze it. You'll know instantly. That wasn't just a person speaking, that was a message. The third sign will involve a gift or opportunity, something unexpected, something unearned, something you didn't chase. It will simply appear, maybe small, maybe monumental, but its significance won't be in its size. It will be in its timing. It will arrive in a way that tells you, this didn't come from effort, it came from alignment. Gifts that appear from nowhere are heaven's way of signaling that the drought is ending and the flow is beginning. Then comes the fourth sign, peace. Not the soft, fleeting peace that comes and goes depending on your mood, but a heavy, settling peace that descends on your home or your spirit like a blanket of light. The kind of peace that silences what used to frighten you. The kind that shifts the atmosphere of your environment without warning. You may walk into your room and feel it instantly. A quiet you didn't create, a calm you didn't force, a stability that feels unnatural because it is supernatural. That peace is not passive. It is the presence of angels rearranging the spiritual climate around you. The fifth sign is the one most people are unprepared for. Someone from your past will reappear. Not everyone, not anyone toxic, not the person you begged God to remove. but someone whose absence has echoed in your story, someone whose connection wasn't random, someone whose chapter in your life was paused, not closed. Their return won't be by accident. It won't be nostalgia. It won't be emotional confusion. It will be alignment. There is a divine connection heaven is touching again, not because of longing, but because the timing has shifted. These signs will not be scattered. They will not be subtle. They will not be coincidences stitched together by wishful thinking. They will be synchronized, precise, inescapable. They will be heaven's way of saying, everything spoken over you has already begun, and nothing can stop what is unfolding. You are stepping into a season where your name carries weight in both realms, where your presence is noted, where your spirit is recognized, where your destiny announces itself before you even speak. Both seers knew it the moment they saw your photo. They felt the charge around you, the movement, the activation, the decree already released with your name engraved into it. And just when they thought they understood the full extent of the signs surrounding your life, something else appeared, something deeper, something heavier, something that reveals not just what is coming, but how heaven plans to seal it all. Chosen one, this is the moment everything inside you finally aligns with what heaven has known about you all along. Your destiny is not waiting to be decided. It is not hanging in uncertainty. It is not fragile or negotiable. It has already been written in a realm no human hand can alter. Those two seers trembled not because of fear, but because they recognized you before you recognized yourself. They saw the truth your spirit has been whispering to you for years. You were never ordinary, never unprotected, never forgotten. They saw the mantle resting on your life, a mantle that cannot be copied, diluted, stolen, or silenced. They saw the angels assigned to your path, not observing you, but actively guarding, fighting, positioning, and preparing the way in front of you. They saw justice unfolding on your behalf. Justice for every silent wound, for every betrayal you endured quietly, for every door that was slammed in your face, for every moment you were underestimated, overlooked, or denied. They saw blessings rushing toward you with urgency, blessings that should have reached you long ago but were held until the appointed hour, blessings carrying your name engraved into them like a divine signature. They saw honor rising from the ashes of your rejection, not forced, not demanded, but earned through the weight of who you've become. And they saw your elevation, an elevation no enemy can stop, no critic can block, no jealous heart can interfere with, because it was never theirs to decide. Your story is not stepping into another chapter. It is stepping into a divine unveiling, the unveiling of everything heaven has been building in silence, the unveiling of the strength you forged in storms that were meant to break you, the unveiling of the purpose that has been maturing beneath every hardship you survived. So walk into your next days differently, with boldness, with clarity, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows heaven has already spoken your name in places you haven't even entered yet. Carry yourself like someone whose steps are ordered, whose path is guarded, whose future is anchored by divine decree. And if your spirit felt this, if something inside you awakened, stirred, or finally understood, comment Amen as your public decree of agreement. Not for the algorithm, not for attention, but as a spiritual contract, a sign that you are stepping intentionally into what heaven has already prepared for you. Your name is rising, your season is shifting, your destiny is awakening, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop what God has already released over your life. Prepare yourself, because what comes next will confirm everything your spirit already knows.